Hey, Coach. I'm so glad you found us on YouTube. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully this video will help in your basketball journey. If you're looking for a little bit more detail, check out teachhoops.com down either in the show notes or up above. It is a social community of resources, of other coaches, of me, one-on-one coaching. Just go check it out. 14-day free trial. It's a great gig. I think you'll love it. And let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.
All right, Coach. What are we on? Episode 3 of Coach Unplugged High School Hoops. All right, so this is a good one. I'm not sure I'm gonna pull out 8 pages of notes like I did last week with picking an offense. But go ahead. Let's talk about what's this week's topic.
So the journey of this whole topic is I'm a huge avid reader, and Steve knows that as well. Is I'm currently reading a book called
Look at my office. Yeah.
I'm currently reading a book, and it's written by Seth Davis. I think it's one of the best coaching books out there right now. It's called Getting to Us, and he talks about this acronym called PEAK. And we can add that to the show notes.
Yep.
It's
Getting to Us by Seth Green.
Seth Davis.
Seth Davis.
Yeah. Yep. And it's about how great coaches make great teams. And he talks about this idea of PEAK. And I'll tell you what PEAK is. PEAK is this it's an acronym with all these great coaches that are in this book, from Urban Meyer to Tom Izzo, Coach K, Jim Harbaugh, Jim Boeheim, Doc Rivers, Steve's newfound glory, which is Brad Stevens, that he loves to talk about all the time.
I love Brad Stevens.
And there's no reason why you can't love the guy. He's done amazing things with so little. And he has some common traits of a lot of these other coaches, and he does it in a different way. But this whole idea of PEAK, and maybe as we move forward in the season, we could talk about some of this whole PEAK thing. But PEAK stands for.
Hold on 1 second, Coach. Hold on. So the people that are listening to this, first of all, behind me, there's a whole bookcase of books. But the best part, I think, for Coach right now is he's paging. How many pages is that book?
This book is about 250 pages.
Yeah, so he's got this huge book he's holding in front of him right now, and he's paging.
I just finished Jay Wright's book, Attitude. That's another great book too. But I just love reading Jay Wright's book. You should read it. I love Jay Wright's book. Attitude. It's phenomenal.
I think it's more that you're opening a book. Like, people are reading books on their phone, and they're like, Kindle reader and all that kind of stuff.
But if I don't touch on it, I'll forget. But the PEAK is this: he figured out that all these great coaches that I just listed are persistent. They're empathetic to their players. They are knowledgeable, which is the K. And then what we're going to be talking today is authentic. And I think it's interesting to talk about it as a basketball coach. And Steve has been coaching for many years, and I've been coaching for about 10 years at the high school level and the college level. Is just this idea of authentic. So the question is –
Hold on 1 second. So go through that PEAK again one more time so that people can –
You like that, huh?
I do.
It's the idea of all these great coaches.
So what are the letters? Go through the letters again.
Persistent. All great coaches are persistent.
Okay. Yep.
They are apathetic. Okay. Yep. Or empathy they talk about.
Yep.
A is this idea they are authentic.
Which we're going to talk about this week. Yep.
The whole thing, that one of the reasons why we do Coach Unplugged is they are knowledgeable, and they're continuing to be knowledgeable.
Okay.
And I think that really makes a lot of sense.
It does.
After us talking about basketball for the last almost year and a half now, is that we have talked a lot about persistence and constantly battling. We talked about knowledge, and we've also talked about this idea of empathy and building relationships and loving kids, and it goes beyond X's and O's. But I think one thing that we haven't talked about lately, or have we never really touched upon, is this idea of being authentic. And so what does it mean to be authentic? So the question is, why is it? The question will be, and then I'll define what authentic is so our listeners can understand. Why is it important to be authentic as a coach? And the idea of being authentic as a coach is this idea of being you and true to yourself and refusing to be someone that you're not. Okay. And then we can touch on other aspects of what that really means as being authentic. But why is it important to be authentic as a coach?
Well, I think you get, well, first of all, we're all coaches. I don't remember what book I just read, but we're all coaches. Like, I coach every day. I have a 16-year-old that just went downstairs. I coach. I mean, all of us are coaches. If you're a human being, you're a coach, to be honest with you.
Right.
You're coaching something. Okay. So I think it should be, I almost think it's the importance of being authentic, period.
Yeah.
Like as a human being, it's a lot easier to be authentic. And as if I've gotten older, I have a lot less time for all the BS in the world. And that's part of my authenticity. I don't deal with it anymore. I mean, I'm not going to get involved in it, whatever. But it's a lot easier to be authentic than not authentic. Like it's,
but I believe that so many young coaches and coaches try to be somebody that they're not.
Right.
I think it's a problem. And I think that's why they burnt down on it. They're not putting enough of you into it. And I would say from a young coach, those are a lot of the mistakes that I made. And one of the things I just want to touch on is that the most enjoyable season that I had as a coach was last year as assistant, because Coach Murphy and he just let me be who I wanted to be. And I was authentic as I could be. And I figured out what I valued and what system I really loved about basketball.
Right.
I loved running some ball screen stuff. I loved running, and we just built upon that. And the sense of relief that you can feel as being authentic to yourself and embodying that you as a coach is so important. I think that helps with your longevity as a coach if you want to be in this for a long time. Because if you're not going to be authentic, it talks about this in the book. Your players can sense and feel that. They can tell when you're faking it, when you don't really know what you're talking about, or you're not who you are or who you want to be, or exactly who you're not. They can tell that. They're not stupid. They can pick up on that.
Right.
You got to be genuine to yourself.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's a golden nugget if anybody just caught on that too. It's like kids can read fake. Like if anybody watch Mean Girls, they can tell the plastics right away. They can. They're really good at that. Now, they're not really good at doing the Pythagorean theorem, but they're really good at reading fake. They really are. And I mean, I don't know everything about volleyball, and I'm realistic with my boys about that. I teach them what I know, and we go out and fight and blah, blah, blah. And, it is what it is. And the same thing with me in basketball. I do this 24/7 every day with teach hoops and stuff. I do this all the time. There's still things that I'm not as good at as some of my assistants.
Right.
Running my offense.
You got to know who you are.
Right. I turn it over to Coach Morgan all the time offensively. All right, Coach, what should we do? I'm authentic. It's like if I go out there and try to fake it with the boys, no, he's much better at it. He spends more time on it. He knows the nuances more. I know it. I can teach it, but he's better. So I'm being authentic with him. It's like, okay, what do you think? Now, if we're running the 1-3-1 or we're doing some stuff, then I'm jumping in because I feel like I know that as well as anyone, and I know it better than he does probably, or Coach Olsen or Coach something. So there's things that I feel are in my wheelhouse that I'm really good at. There's things that I'm not as good at that, if we're down 3 with 45 seconds to go, trust me, I know what I'm going to do. I don't need to ask somebody on that. But there's other things that I'm not as good at, and I'm going to go boom, And early in my career, I'm telling you right now, I used to hand the clipboard off. If someone felt like they were more confident and knew it, I wasn't going to let the boys lose because I didn't know what I was, 100% doing at that point. So I think that's being authentic, but that's really, really hard for a coach.
It is really hard, but I think the importance of talking about this is for coaches to understand that you have to be vulnerable. You also have to understand that, it's all about knowing what you can do as a coach and what you're weak at. And there's no, right now I'm coaching girls soccer and we have to work on goalie stuff. Heck, I don't know anything about goalie stuff, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to learn it and I'm going to get better at it. But if I'm going to pretend that I know everything without doing any research and think that I know everything, I'm not being true to myself. I'm going to go out and get better, or I'm going to find somebody to help teach me this. It's so important to acknowledge what you know and what you need to get better at, because that's just going to make you a better coach and ultimately a better person. And the kids are going to pick up on that.
Right. And it goes back to what I've said 1,000 times too. If they feel that and they know you're not faking it, they're going to go to battle for you more. Because they're going to love you more. If they think you're being fake and they don't think you really know what you're doing, and you don't really care about them, and you don't have the empathy, and you don't have the knowledge, and you're not persistent, they're not going to give. It's going to be about them, man. It's going to be like, I got to get mine kind of stuff. Trust me.
Yeah.
Especially boys.
The other thing too, and I read this, is that the more genuine you can be, it develops trust within your staff and your players. And then we'll talk about later on this idea of clutter, and we'll touch base on clutter and episode up to coming, is that you just have this whole of body and trust that they got something to believe in. Or like if you don't know something and you ask your JV coach that's really understood the 3-2 for far longer than you have, man, that says that speaks volume to them. You don't want to be the all-knowing. You want to be as authentic and vulnerable as you can, because if they don't know it, they maybe go out and they'll learn it too. And you do it together. And I think the more authentic you can be, it just builds trust within your staff, as well as something else I wrote down about this topic as well.
It's you know, and it goes back to like being a parent. It's like, I don't know. I mean, thank God for Google, but like if I don't know something, I just tell, I used to tell my kids all the time, I don't know. Let's go find out. You know, I don't know how to fix the sink. I'm either going to look it up on YouTube or I'm going to call somebody that knows how to fix the sink. You know, we my wife will, she never listens to this, but it's funny. We have like one of those pull out trash things in our kitchen. And it's supposed to be a soft push close. Well, it's broken. So I've looked at it. We've had people over for Thanksgiving. They've looked. No one's been able to fix it. So finally, I just said, go call somebody and have them fix it. I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. Maybe they got to take the track off. I don't really want to fix it, and I don't know how to fix it. So, you know, there's a point where you just kind of like, if you don't know, you got to be authentic with it too. It's like, and again, I think this goes back to being an authentic person as much as an authentic coach, for everything.
The other thing is everyone's style is different. Okay. So, and everybody's had different success because of who they are. You know, Coach Knight, Izzo are completely different than the Brad Stevens and the John Woodens of the world. All right. And it's all work, and we cannot. And I see this, so we all, you know, I could just remember some coaches when Bobby Knight was hot, they all wanted to be like Bobby Knight, or they all try to be just like them. You're going to do everything that they do, but guess what? You cannot be them. You're not them. Okay, even though Coach K learned a bunch from Bobby Knight, Coach K is a completely different coach than Bobby Knight is. Now, did he gain the knowledge piece? Absolutely. But who he is as a person is completely different. Okay. You know, all those people that learn all this great knowledge. So a lot of these coaches that we have, that I talked about in this book, you know, they learn from other great coaches, but, you know, they have a certain personality and a certain thing that they put into it, and they make it their own, they make it authentic. I think the other thing you've talked about too is, you know, you've coached under a lot of other coaches. It's all about piecing the different pieces together and then making it who you are. It's so important.
It is so important. And the thing is, it's also reading your crowd. Especially for the young coaches, especially the ones that are maybe thinking about high school. It's like, so here's my personality A, and here's my administration and my AD personality B. Well, those aren't going to go together. That's why I've been very blessed. I've had my personality has fit with my administration as I've grown and they've grown. We've worked in sync. That doesn't always work. So that might mean I have to leave this job, because if I want to be authentic, I'm going to be a B. I got to find a B administration and AD that's going to support what B is, or whatever it is. I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm not saying, you know, Izzo's wrong or Brad Stevens is wrong. I don't know. You pick one. I don't know where you fit on the spectrum, but that is a huge frustration for a lot of coaches. Is I think they are trying to be authentic, but then over here doesn't see it.
But I also think there's different times to be authentic. One thing I've learned is like I'm kind of the Jim Harbaugh. I'm up and down the sidelines. I'm really intense. Practice is a great place to do that. You know, that is a great place. And then there's a time where, you know what, there's just not a time and place to do that. And I think it's about being a professional. As authentic as you want to be in this world, we have to be professional. And we also have to understand the world has changed. And we talked about this earlier on before we started the shows, but this idea of that the Bobby Knight and the you know what they did years ago is just not going to be something that's going to be okay with schools anymore. And you have to be adaptive too. As much as you want to be authentic, you can always be authentic to a certain extent, but you also have to understand that there is a professionalism that also goes with it, and the professionalism is always changing, and you have to be adaptive.
Yep.
So one thing I want coaches to understand in this show is that you want to be as authentic as you can be, but you can't be, you got to be ever changing as
we
well.
live
You
in a
can't
different world than we did 30 years ago. And if
Right.
you're not willing to change with the world that you live in, you're going to die. It's like, it's Darwinism. I mean, it's like, seriously, if you don't adapt, you will be extinct. The dinosaurs didn't adapt. They became extinct. If you don't adapt to the surroundings that you're in, you're going to be fired. Basically, you're going to be extinct. And I think a lot of coaches have a very difficult time with that. They want to be authentic. Yep. They think they are, but they're not adjusting to the type of kit. Because I don't care. Let's say you're 35 and you're coaching now. 18-year-olds are different than you. They're different than you were when you were 18. You know, that's
absolutely.
You know, they have a computer they're carrying around. You didn't have that, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's where if you're being naive, you're being stupid, you're doing lots of things if you're not willing to look at that and adjust to it, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Right. And so I just that was the last thing I wanted to touch on is that, just because you are being authentic doesn't mean you have to, it's just a different world out there. It's just, if you don't change with society and you don't change, you're never going to be exactly. So, the idea too is authentic is doing things that you also feel is right in the game of basketball, whether it's running the read and react, or it's running the ball screen offense, or if you love to trap, if you like to run and gun, those things are also to deal with being authentic too, or those are the things that you love and you want in your program, then put it in there as well. I don't think it's just about you as a person. Yeah.
Test it. See if it works. If it doesn't, then, it doesn't work. Then you try something else for sure. All right. Anything else, Coach?
No, it was a good topic, and I would again recommend anybody to read the book "Getting to Us" by Seth Davis.
I will put that in the show notes, and I will put the Jay Wright attitude in the show notes too.
Two great books. Reading about the game beyond X's and O's is always a really good thing, because coaches always talked about this idea is beyond X's and O's. Books are a good place to really understand that and learn.
They are, and I'm gonna tell you, anybody that's watching, they can see all the books behind me, and I'm a great reader, and I love to read, but I also love to walk my dog. So Audible or audiobooks are a
me too.
Wonderful thing. The only issue I have with Audible, and I don't have it here in my office, I have a little black book I carry around with me because I'll hear something on my walk, and it's like, oh crap, if I don't write this down, I'm gonna forget it.
Yep.
So Audible is a wonderful thing. I think my brother read like 400 books last year, and he didn't read 400 books. He's very busy, but he listened to 400 books. So that's a great way to do it. They're like 12 to 17 bucks. I have a bunch of them on my phone that I have to listen to. But
honestly, though, a lot of libraries people out there, they have what is called Overdrive now in their libraries, where they have a lot of coaching books that you can get on Audible for free. And so
really?
People that maybe if you don't have the resources or so forth, and you can actually ask libraries to get that book in as an Audible. So if you're going to be an avid listener to a book, more than likely they might get it for you. So that's just something for people out there. If you are looking into doing some Audible books and you can't afford that, or you're looking for a cheaper way of doing it, it's called Overdrive. Overdrive is just a component with your regular library. But most public libraries around here, we have a library system that's connected. I'm in the Milwaukee area, coaches in the Madison area. I'm sure they have something similar where in any big city, where if you go to their website, you can actually request audiobooks, and then you get it through some type of, whether it's Overdrive or other system that they look at. But in the end, you could go out and just ask your public library. There are free Audible books to rent all the time. And a lot of time they will purchase that as well.
There's the golden nugget for the episode right there. That saved you some money right there. Golden
saved
nugget.
You some money. Yeah.
All right. Till next week, Coach. See ya.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Bye-bye.
Hey, Coach, I hope you like that. If you're looking for more resources, you're looking for a mentor, check it out, teachhoops.com, for coaches who want to get better. I do not think you'll be disappointed. 14-day free trial. It is there for you.